Who are you?
Paul Weller, last I spoke to.
Paul Weller, welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Thank you very much.
And Paul, right off the bat, to welcome you to Vancouver, I have a gift to you from the Zombies, Love and Thanks. A signed record, a signed CD.
Thank you so much.
You love the Zombies, don't you?
I love the Zombies, yeah. I love this record, folks, as well. If you haven't heard it, you've got to hear it.
Yeah,
It's an oracle, yeah.
What is your interaction with the Zombies? You love the keyboards, right?
I love the whole thing. I love the songs and their harmonies and instrumentation. I mean, they was just unique, really, you know.
Does Paul have everything? Like, I'm giving you a signed Zombies CD. Have you got all the autographs?
The person who goes, oh my God! You know what I mean, right? But I'm very, very pleased with that, yeah.
And I think...
In English, I don't get as excited as you lot, man.
No, I appreciate that. I'm like totally down with that. I was just thought like you've seen everything. You've seen everything, right? Like have you got any autographs? I was just curious. Have you got?
Yeah.
What autographs have you got? I was just curious.
I have got a vinyl version of that record you just gave me, signed by Chris and Rod and Colin. What else have I got? I got something signed by Smokey Robinson, an album signed by Smokey about a year ago, which was just wonderful. Yeah.
June 5th, 1982, at the Kerrisdale Arena in Vancouver.
Yeah.
The Jam's last...
Was I there?
Yes, you were there. The last show ever from the Jam in North America.
Right, I didn't know that, man.
And actually, you left some graffiti on the wall for Joe Strummer.
Right. I hope it was clean.
Well, we have a chance to investigate the graffiti right here. We have William who took that photo right there.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah.
Could you explain what is going on there?
Well, we had the good fortune. I was able to mention to you that 20 days after you were going to be performing at the Kerrisdale Arena, the Clash were going to be coming, which rather chuffed you apparently, and you left this note on the wall.
Cool, man.
Which says, "Hey Joe Strummer, keep the faith, love Paul Weller." And I'm thrilled to say, 20 days later, I got to meet them and pointed it out to them, and they got quite a kick out of it.
Cool, man. Mick as well. Bless them.
Had you done that before?
What, left messages? All the time, man. I'm still doing it.
How did you get backstage, William? Was it hard to get backstage at Paul's gig?
I don't remember that part, but I do remember something that I was always interested about. There was a very young fellow that I met who was all dressed up, all mod, who clearly was a friend of yours. And I believe I had a pass, but at one point before going backstage, you had waved him on, and the guy looked really sharp, and I came along with him, and I was always curious, who was this young fellow? Do you remember?
No idea. I don't know. Was he an English boy?
Yeah, and he seemed to be traveling with you guys, and I thought he was like a relative. He really was connected, it seemed, but I guess that is a lot of years ago. So
well, there used to be quite a few of them people, man. There was quite a few people used to follow us around, you know. A lot of people, yeah.
Well, for him to come from the UK all the way to here to tour with you is pretty amazing.
And to wave you backstage.
Yeah, of course.
And we have the photo. Proof.
Yeah, and thank you. I'll let you keep going, but it was very fun to be able to share it with you. It's a story I've been able to tell people, and it was incredibly cool to see you leave the note. And I'm curious, if I might ask, was there any sort of rivalry between you and Strummer? A lot of people said there were. It seemed like you guys were...
I didn't ever feel that anyway. I thought we were on the same side, really. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much, William, and toot-toot-toot.
Toot-toot.
Now, Paul, you teach me and Canada a lot of stuff. Like, for instance, you did the liner notes for The Action. What can you say about The Action? Not this record, but another record. What can you say about The Action?
Well, they're a great, almost forgotten 60s band. Mid-60s from, I don't know, 64 to whatever, 68. And they never actually put an album out in the 60s. They had like 5 singles out, which had become kind of sort of cult thing, I suppose. But they were kind of like a mod club band, really, you know.
And you did the liner notes.
And George Martin produced them, actually, as well. But they just never really had the songs or something, I don't know. Never happened for them anyway.
And you did the liner notes.
I did it all those years ago, yeah.
Which turned me on to The Action.
Cool, yeah. Well, that's good. That's what music does, I guess, isn't it? You know, it keeps going back and forward amongst us all, really.
And I have another gift for you. 2 Joe Simon LPs from '69.
Wow, thank you. Is it for me as a present?
That is for you.
Oh, man.
What can I say about Joe Simon and Paul Weller?
Well, I love Joe's voice. I don't know how well known he is amongst people, really. Probably more like for soul fans and stuff. But yeah, he's got an amazing, unique voice. And I got to meet him 2 years ago when I was last in the States and over here as well. And I met him. I invited him to the gig in Chicago. He's a minister down there. And so yeah, it's just great to meet him, man, as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. You invited him to the gig.
Yeah, and he showed up and he stayed and he loved it as well. Yeah.
You have the song Saturn's Pattern.
Yeah.
And there was an ad, speaking of patterns, for a mod pattern. Attention mods, the Jam Shoe by Shellys. Do you remember the Jam Shoe or the Jam Jack? What was that like? I was curious about that.
What was it like? It was like black and white, really, but it was. I don't even know what style you call it, really. I don't know. A regular sort of looking shoe, really, but in black and white. And we wore them, yeah, when we started out, and they just got really popular.
Was there ever a Paul Weller doll?
I don't know, maybe.
What do you think about dolls? Like, for instance, there is this doll, the Sid Vicious doll. What do you think about the Sid Vicious doll?
Nothing really. It's like a plastic figure of Sid Vicious. I haven't got any thoughts or feelings one way or the other, really. Poor old Sid, but yeah.
Is that how you would envision a Paul Weller doll if there was one?
Yeah, but maybe not as long as legs as that. I don't know, really. It's hard to say.
And you played, actually, with the Sex Pistols on Thursday, October 22nd, 1976.
Wow.
With keyboards. What was the jam like with keyboards?
Short-lived. He only made 2 gigs because he didn't have a keyboard, so that was a big problem. So yeah, we literally done maybe 2 gigs of him. I don't know.
And Bob Gray immigrated to Canada. He went to Canada.
Right, I didn't know that.
And now he is in the Guinness Book of World Records.
What, for the shortest time of being in a band?
A baboom. No, it's something to do with memory. He's a memory master.
Right.
And speaking of Canada, I have a gift for you. A pink label, Small Faces, Canada issue, 7-inch.
Thank you very much, man. I must come on this show more often, man.
Well, you are Paul Weller. We have to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The Small Faces got basically a scooter escort when they played a gig. Have you ever got a scooter escort?
Not that I remember.
But you have signed a scooter. I saw you signing a scooter.
Many scooters, yeah, in my time.
That one you signed in York was amazing. It had all those mirrors. I love that.
I'm impressed by your memory because I don't remember half these things, man, really, but yeah.
What was it like, Paul, running your own record label? For instance, Tracy. What was it like? Respond Records. What can you say about Tracy and running your record label?
She was great, man. She was just a lovely young girl. She was great. She was fun to work with. We were all really young and we were very naive, and I didn't really understand what it entails to run a record label. You know, that you've got to put as much time into it as you do into music, which is impossible for me. So it kind of died a bit of a death, but it was a learning curve, I suppose, really.
What were Main T Posse like? What were they like?
They were just Vaughan, as if one of our friends, really, really lovely fellow who died in the early 90s, called Vaughan Toulouse. Just a sort of scenester, really, in a way, you know, just a great fella. And so he was kind of, that was him, really, Main T Posse. When we put a couple of singles out, maybe.
You have the song Friday
Street.
Now, speaking of street, Soho. Genesis P. Orridge saw you play Soho Street, Soho Market.
Yeah.
What do you think of Throbbing Gristle, that whole line of bands, like Throbbing Gristle?
I never really listened to it at the time, that kind of industrial thing, so I would like to say, you know, it's probably not my sort of music. I like melody, so I probably would maybe have a problem with it. But I knew Genesis anyway, very, very early days, like around from the punk time, really.
Lastly here, Paul Weller, Bruce Foxton plays on Wake Up the Nation.
He does.
Was his nickname really Shower Unit? Why was he called Shower Unit?
It's new to me, man. I've never heard that before.
Did you have any nicknames at all?
None that I could mention on your show.
Baboom.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard Shower Unit, whatever that is.
Well, thank you very much, Paul Weller. Really appreciate your time. Anything you want to add to the people out there at all?
Love. Peace and love is what I've got to add to the people out there.
Why should people care about Paul Weller? Why should people care?
They shouldn't have to at all. I don't ask them to care about me whatsoever, really. As long as my family does, I don't really mind.
Well, thanks so much, Paul Weller. Keep on rocking in the free world and do.
Do.
Yeah.
Are these mics actually mine to keep them?